This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast with Bruce Hutcheon, episode number 074.
Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, where it is all about whitetail deer hunting tips, techniques, and the stories so you can become a more successful whitetail deer hunter. And now your host, Bruce Hutcheon.
Gary Elliot states, in 2008, I get reintroduced to hunting and got back involved again with the outdoor and archery industries. I have started and still facilitate outdoornewsandreviews.com for those people searching for information about archery and hunting and other outdoor products. I hope to be able to give them the information overview of the products that are available to them. Also, I provide links and documentation to assist them in their research. I have also added Gary's Outdoor News and Reviews on Facebook, and it's given me an opportunity to bring kayak fishing blog on worldfishingnetwork.com website. I'm by no means an expert, but a regular outdoorsman just like you, learning to learn more and to help others. I also write independently for Bowhunting.net and Bowhunting.com. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is Bruce Hutcheon, your host. Today I have Gary Elliot, who is the owner of Outdoor News and Reviews, as seen on Facebook. Gary, say hello to our listeners.
Well, hello, Bruce, and listeners. How are you today?
Hey, we're doing great, and we're excited to have you on the show. Let's just jump right into it and talk to us about what you hope to do for the outdoor community with your Facebook page.
Well, I started it in 2008. I got reintroduced to the outdoors again and hunting and archery, and I wanted a way to learn all the new techniques, all the new products out there. So I started blogging, started writing product reviews, soon getting requests and feedback from one of the owners of Bowhunting.net. And as time went by and I learned to write a little bit better and produce things, Rich allowed me to write for his Bowhunting.net. I've also, along the way, been able to write for Bowhunting.com on occasion, and the blog has just grown. And companies have allowed me the opportunity to write about outdoor products and hunting.
What type of products are people really interested in in the world of whitetail?
Bows especially. I think now marketing, we've gone as far right now with technology and materials. So marketing has us wanting faster bows. Now we've got new colors introduced to the market, so people are able to pick most any color they want. Technology allows us to even take those old bows and you know, it's not quite sandblasting, but recoat those old bows and bring them back to life and make them the colors we want. Technology makes it we don't have to have the high poundage bows that we used to have to shoot to get any kind of speed or distance out of them. So I think trail cameras are big now. Not only to the hunter, but I think to just the avid person feeding whitetails, enjoying watching them feed and be in their backyards. The apps that are coming out are phenomenal for trail cameras. It allows the average whitetail hunter and everyone to have multiple cameras, monitor them, put them in, organize them from moon phase, time of day, the date, everything. So I think with technology, as it is in any avenue, there's good things and bad things, and I think there's a lot of good things coming from it at this time. So I think whitetail hunters, you know, they're looking for that new thing, that new technology, and when they do, they, you know, depending on how well it's marketed, they eat it up.
Gary, have you checked out John Livingston's deerlab.com?
Yes, I have. Actually, I've talked to him at the ATA shows and spoke to him about that, and we're getting ready to do a review on it. And I don't have that many cameras to really make it worthwhile, but I have a friend that does, and we're getting together and we're going to start putting something together. It's a phenomenal piece of software and database driven. You can, for a person that loves to micromanage their cameras and their data, it's definitely something worth looking at.
We had John on the show, a month or so ago, and just incredible information, what he can tell from the date stamp on that photo of that buck or their doe in the woods. What was some of the impressive things that you saw that is immediately transferable to the whitetail hunter?
You can check. Boy, there's so much from that software that you can narrow it down to what deer are coming in at certain moon phases. You can utilize it if you want to know what time of days that you have to hunt, what are available. You can go by timestamps and see at what stands you have what deer coming through. It's phenomenal what the guy has done with the software to manage trail cameras.
Why do you think whitetail hunters are embracing technology so well?
I think because we embrace it with a lot of other things in our personal life, and when someone can adapt that technology to something that we love to do and can actually use it and use it correctly, learn it easily, and it actually has a purpose, I think we tend, no matter in what avenue we're in, to grasp that technology and use it. I think whitetail hunters can take today's technology, utilize their time more efficiently. They can, mark what deer they want and monitor that deer and find out, where it's going, where it's been, what time, did it move more during a certain moon phase, a certain time of day, a certain weather, temperature. It's just, we can take it no matter what we do. Fishing can be the same way, and that's hunting as well. But with whitetails, they're so smart, they adapt so quickly to change, that we can use that to really kind of try to outsmart them a little bit, for now anyways.
For now anyways, I like that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the tradition of hunting and what it means to you, your family, and friends.
Well, growing up, I didn't have a father who hunted. He actually grew up in the southeast part of Kentucky during the bad times, and so hunting was just a way of life for him and his family. They had to hunt to eat. And so as he got older, he grew out of hunting because I don't think he had a lot of good memories to him, because it wasn't a tradition, it was a have to. Whereas a lot of my uncles and a lot of my cousins hunted down south. So as I got older and went down to Kentucky, I was introduced to hunting by my cousins. They did a lot of fur hunting. A lot of my uncles raccoon hunted. And it always fascinated me. I always had a love for the outdoors. I would find myself, going by myself out in the woods or with friends, or just sitting watching nature. And as I got involved in photography at a young age, I began to photograph animals in the wild, and along with that, barns, because they have such a connection with our culture, our past, and they have such a great personality. But back to hunting. And so that tradition never really, there was a love for hunting there, nurtured, and nested for a long time. As I got older, I discovered girls and, didn't really feed the love of hunting until I got older. And just said I've got to do it. And my wife's family, a few of them hunt. One of her uncles does, and I go up and see him and have learned some things from him, and past high school friends I've met up with, and taken a little bit from all my friends. I have a friend at church that kind of has been a mentor, and I, listen to him. He's a very ethical hunter. And so I try to listen, read, and take in as much as I can.
What's something that you've learned hunting in the last couple of years that you make sure that you're going to carry that on, that experience on, that technique on? Can you share any of those with us?
I've introduced, I have 3 boys. One that really has taken on to hunting, and I've got him involved and introduced him to hunting, and I think that tradition will pass on through him and his children. I take my nephews and nieces. I have, not all of them, but some of them fishing. I've, asked some of them, if they ever want to go hunting, and introduce them to the outdoors. Camping. A couple of my brother-in-laws have hunted in the past, but no longer do. So I try to introduce it to my nieces, nephews. I'm going to hopefully pass it on through one of them, as well as my youngest son. I have a middle son that really enjoys fishing. So I think those outdoor type activities, whether it be camping, fishing, hunting, I hope, will be passed on through them and carried on.
Share with us a couple of aha moments when you've been hunting whitetails that you said, man, I wish I had thought about that a while ago, or I'm sure glad I figured that out. Have a couple of those to share?
Oh, boy, don't we all, especially with whitetail. Gosh, I don't really know if they're more aha moments or boy, I'm really embarrassed moments, because you kind of, I find the first time I went hunting, back in 2008, I believe it was, I was sitting there in my blind by myself. Sun was coming up. It was beautiful out. I was up north. And I saw a deer jump over the back 40 fence and coming towards me. It was a good-sized deer. It wasn't a trophy. I haven't had the opportunity to hunt trophy deer, but it was a nice size 6-point, and it walked within 8 yards of me, went broadside, and I had put something in the tree that attracted it. They had been coming there, and I wanted to draw back. The deer kept watching me. I learned so much just from sitting there watching that deer. Just everything everybody had told me about how well they sense your presence, how they keep a good eye on you. And so I figured, you know what, I just got so mesmerized by that deer and watching him that I put the bow down and watched him and thought he'll be back later. Well, he never came back. I guess it's just those kind of moments that I take in that the deer come in so close, and that's what I like about bow hunting, and that the deer come in and, they're 8 feet away, they're 8 yards away, they're, 15 yards away. And I get so mesmerized in just watching them that, it's just sitting and watching and learning, and then of course, you have to at some point realize why you're out there and draw back, and that deer becomes, food for your family, and you've got the sense of accomplishment of doing that.
Thank you for those insights, sir. Let's go back to what you're doing on your blog and on your Facebook page. If somebody wanted to do a similar type of posting and reviews, what recommendations would you give them?
It's kind of, and I say this honestly. I mean, it's funny you asked that. I had a young lady on Facebook the other day that asked me what she needed to do to start doing this, and began a list of all the things she wanted, and they were quite large items. And I kind of, instead of saying something outright on the blog, I IM'd her and fronted her and explained to her that if someone wants to do this, and believe me, I have not reinvented the wheel here. It's something that I started doing, and I started small, as I told her, with small, whether it be items you own in your house and you use. Start a small blog, write about those items. I've got a son that has a journalism degree, and there's sometimes that when something's very important, I have him grade it, and I tell you what, it's sometimes he can be ruthless, but it's worthwhile to make sure that what you write looks good. And start small, start the blog, create a link, start contacting companies for small items. And the biggest thing that I was told a long time ago about what I do is that companies hand out an awful lot of product to guys and women and people that say they want to write about it, they want to review it. Very few ever follow through. And that's one of the things I've built my reputation on, and is the fact that when I've been given a product, I actually use it. I give it to someone to use it if they have more knowledge with that product, and we review it, we write about it, we photograph it, we're getting into video. That's one big thing. And we send it for a draft look, and companies like that. Now, when I first started, I dealt directly with certain people at different companies. I actually dealt with the owners for a brief time. But the industry has changed and went to marketing firms. So you contact the rep or the marketing company and you work directly with them. Some companies are starting to get away from the marketing as far as that aspect and dealing directly with you. But follow through, honest reviews, and make them informative. Inform the reader, be honest about it, supply video, supply pictures, and I think you could do very well.
Let's talk about one of your reviews. I think you put something up on Scent Blocker, or was it Scent Lock?
I don't think I've never done anything on ScentLock as far as the actual brand. I've done a review with some of the new redhead stuff coming out, or that came out last year.
Yeah, I'm looking on your site. It's DUI. I'll try to get back to it. It was something, and maybe it was another site. You had something on Scent Blocker introduces DUI, and it came off the Outdoor Wire.
Oh, okay. A lot of times on my blog, what I do is I subscribe to the Outdoor News, Outdoor Wire, a bunch of different outdoor news blogs. And what I try to do is I also, in turn, take that and share that information on my blog along with with a lot of my reviews as they become live. So that might have been an article that was on Outdoor Wire.
Yes, it was.
And it was shared.
Right,
Yeah.
and you shared it. Okay.
Now, those aren't necessary. Those aren't ones that I've written. That's some of the stuff off the newswire that I like to share with some of the readers that go to the blog.
Okay, just so everybody knows, since I brought it up, Scent Blocker introduces DUI, a new habit-forming hunting product that attracts, calms, and relaxes game. It's a scent control for hunters, announces a product name change. The name citing product came out at ATA show. So deer under the influence.
Right.
That's kind of cool. I like that. That's kind of cool.
It is neat what some of the industry's doing. I find some of that stuff to be some of the hardest stuff to review, and have learned a few lessons along the way about what to review and what not to review. But yes, there are some things out there with technology and science that they're beginning to find out more about whitetail and some of the things that either attract them or keep them away, or the way they see things during the day, the night, or even in the evening or early morning when they can see the best.
Do you rifle hunt and archery hunt?
No, I only archery hunt.
Only archery. Okay. Let's just share how you gear up, what kind of stand you use, what kind of bow, and what kind of scent control you use.
I try to use some kind of carbon scent control. Right now, I hope I pronounce this right, zelenite, or zealot. I can't pronounce half these words anyways. It's one of the newer scent control that they're putting in clothing. ScentLock utilizes it. Under Armour uses it now. They do a little bit of a mix. Redhead came out with it. So you want to build off your base layer, and make sure that you've got something that if you're walking out, like so many have said, you want to stay light unless it's freezing outside. Stay light so you don't build up a sweat. So you want a layer that's going to absorb that and allow you to dry out. I try to keep a carbon layer on. I've always hunted. I've hunted a few times from a blind. A stand, and I have one. I'm getting too old and too lazy to put a regular tree stand up, so I use a ladder stand on occasion. But I like to hunt from the ground and from a ground blind. And the reason I do that, and it's actually harder to do, besides actually being outside behind a tree or something, trying to stay as scent free as possible, it's because you're right there, you're ground level, and deer are going to figure you out eventually, but it makes it that much tougher. But so I use a ground blind and hunt primarily that way. As far as a bow, I was using. I've gone to different bows, but as an archery dealer, I primarily, expedition. So I do use an expedition bow, or will be this coming season after my shoulder surgery. And in the past, I've used Obsession, PSE, Ross bows.
What type of broadheads do you like?
One of the newer, I like fixed blade, only because the less moving parts, the less something can happen. I've used a mechanical before. I had an issue with it, and I went back to fixed blade, Muzzy. One of the newer ones that I've actually came across, we had a grand opening at Field and Stream here in Michigan, and one of the celebrities or outdoor celebrities that came through was Mike Stroff, and he's he was sponsored by Wacom. Well, it ends up he's actually now part owner, him and David Livingston, or Langston, I do believe. And I kind of got talking to him about the new Wacoms. They're a 3 and 4 blade fixed blade, and I tell you what, I've started reviewing them. I had my son actually shooting some arrows, sighting his bow in for turkey season, and we got the Wacoms in at the last minute. Took the field tip off. He screwed a 3-blade Wacom on, and basically his words were, it hit right where my field tip did, and it continues to do that. So I'm looking forward to using the Wacoms. I think with today's technology, we're getting those fixed blades to fly very close, if not just as close as our field tips.
Good info, and I hope the listeners are taking notes as I am, because when we get somebody like Gary on the show, he's taking time to take this equipment apart, if you will, and what can it do? What can it do, and why should people be interested in a product? So thanks a lot for that.
Oh, not a problem. And broadheads, if anybody's looking to review stuff and you get into one thing, and that's one I know that is working, and there's a lot of good broadheads out there. Don't get me wrong. A long time ago, I did a video review on broadheads. and I set up something to shoot at to determine, how much of a punch they had, how well they held up, and I learned a great lesson. I had Rich Walton, the owner of bowhunting.net, let me know that after he had watched all my videos and my reviews that this company would probably call me back and these other three wouldn't. And I didn't quite understand at the time what he was saying, and I've learned over time what that's all about, because broadheads and arrows are the two hardest thing in my mind to review. Unless you've got a controlled area and a robotic arm, a lot of people will question everything you've done about a broadhead or an arrow. So I stay away from those two things. But I do have to say the Wacom has worked just as I said it did.
Gary, it's hard to believe, but 30 minutes has gone by, and so we're at the point of the show where you have an open mic for a couple of minutes, so you can talk about Gary's Outdoor News and Reviews. You can talk about, as we have been, specific products. You can talk about your family, whatever you want to talk about. Here's the open mic, so go for it.
Well, thanks, Bruce. Kind of hard to think about what to say, but if anyone's out listening, I'd like to invite you to Facebook and tune in to Gary's Outdoor News and Reviews. If you'd like to contribute, send me information, shoot me a IM. That'd be awesome. I'm always looking for new stuff and people's point of views on different products. I think everybody needs to get out and enjoy the outdoors, whether it's through fishing, camping, hunting, whether it's with a bow or with a rifle or with both or with a fishing rod. I think there's something out there for everyone. I think we need to pass it on. I think we need to start watching what's going on with our government and the way that we're moving forward with the outdoors, and be good examples. It's so easy for some of these groups to take something bad and really, put it out on social media and make a lot of us look bad. And the whole group, what I have found, if I could just say this in closing, is that one thing that I've discovered doing the reviews and being involved with the outdoor people is that although it seems like a very large group of people and companies and stuff, it's really a very small group. It's very tight-knit. It's a blessing to be a part of it, and know that it's almost like a family in some ways. You're just at a different part of the family or from there. But Bruce, thank you very much for this opportunity. I do appreciate it, and thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, Gary Elliot with Outdoor News and Review, for being a guest on Whitetail Rendezvous.
As your host at Whitetail Rendezvous, I want to thank each and every one of you for spending your time with us today. I look forward to sharing with you in the next episode more whitetail hunting tips, techniques, and stories. Until then, keep the sun at your back, the wind in your face, and always be patient.
If you have any tips, comments, or suggestions, or what we can do to improve, because we're here to serve you, let us know. Thanks for listening to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast at www.whitetailrendezvous.com.